Welcome to Sacred Codes Radio. I'm your host, Wisha Maya, and this is your space to come home to yourself. A place where wellness meets wisdom and where intention becomes reality. Today, we're diving into something tender and important. Manifesting without toxic positivity. If you've ever felt like you were doing manifestation wrong because you had a bad day, or you were doubting yourself, or you cried in the shower, you are not alone, and you are not failing. In fact, what if your softness, your grief, your rage, your full emotional landscape is part of your sacred power? Today, we're going to unravel the myth of good vibes only and explore a more compassionate, sustainable path to creating the life that you desire. Before we jump into today's episode, I just want to tell you that if you initially came here for the affirmations episodes, those will be right back. I'm going to start doing 3 affirmation episodes a month, and at the end of the month, there will be one episode where we discuss some wellness topic to help you further along your path to get exactly where you'd like to be. If that's not your cup of tea, no hard feelings here, and we'll see you next week. Now, let's get back into the episode. Toxic positivity is the belief that we must be relentlessly optimistic to attract good things into our lives. It teaches us to suppress grief, to deny fear, and to smile through the pain, all in the name of raising our vibration. But true manifestation is not about perfection. It's about honesty. You are not a magnet only when you're cheerful. You are not blocked because you had a panic attack. And you are not delaying your dreams because you're healing. Manifestation, wellness, magic, none of it is about bypassing reality. It's all about co-creating with it. So let's reframe this. Emotions are not roadblocks, they're messages. Grief shows us what we value. Anger points towards our boundaries. Fear keeps us alert and able to change. Even apathy has its wisdom, and it tells us to rest. So suppressing your emotional truth doesn't clear the path, it clutters it. Energy flows best when it's allowed to move. That means making space for the entire spectrum of your humanity. The healthiest of gardens have compost, so let your shadow nourish your wellness. When we approach manifestation this way, from a place of emotional wholeness and wellness, we're no longer striving to be high vibe all the time, which can be just so exhausting. Instead, we're focusing on alignment over forced optimism. We're focusing on awareness over suppression. And we're focusing on resonance over control. So here's the secret to all of those things. The most magnetic energy is not perfection. It's authenticity. You become a powerful creator when you tell your truth, all of it, and say, I still choose. I still desire. And I still believe in what's coming. But that's all well and good without tools, right? What about practices to actually manifest without bypassing? What does that even look like? The number one tool to manifesting without bypassing is to learn yourself, and that doesn't happen without emotional check-ins. taking the moment and the time to drop into your present reality and check in with how you are really feeling. This requires making time for yourself and committing to yourself no matter what state you're in. When this becomes a habit, and when you decide to start your wellness rituals or practices with, how do I actually feel today? It gives you the space to honor yourself. Jumping in to something like scripting or vision boards without grounding in your current reality can take some of the oomph out of your authenticity. So reclaim honoring yourself and start by right now taking a minute to check in with yourself emotionally. Perhaps you pause this podcast, or perhaps you promise yourself that when you're done listening, you'll have that moment to emotionally check in and just ask yourself, how do I feel today? And answer it truthfully. The next tool is reframing. Everything can be reframed, but you don't have to bypass the truth of the matter with reframing. Reframing your mindset takes time, and it also takes grace and compassion. For example, instead of saying something like, I'm never going to be happy, you could be very honest with yourself and say, right now, I feel overwhelmed and I'm allowed to want more peace. Your language can be both real and give kindness to yourself. But you can't get to this reframing point without building the tool and the capacity to emotionally check in with yourself and be honest with where you're at. That is the first step. The second step, once you get the hang of emotional check-ins, is moving on to that reframing. Once you can understand and recognize your thought patterns and your emotional cycles and patterns, and be honest with where you're at, and reframe that to more align with the life you want and the version of yourself you want, you can move on to accepting and embracing the third step, which is dual desires, which is the ability to hold space for seemingly opposite truths. This is where we embrace that we as human beings experience a full spectrum of emotions, situations, truths, and experiences. We give ourselves the compassion and the grace to be more than just one thing, and to look outside of black and white thinking and live in an area that feels more gray. Because that's where oftentimes we find the truth of the matter. So, when it comes to manifesting and holding dual desires, that could look something like checking in with yourself or starting to formulate what you want to manifest and seeing that, well, I want this, but I'm scared. But I'm also willing. Or I want to move on, but I'm still grieving. But I feel like I'm also open to joy. Understanding and allowing yourself, giving yourself the permission slip to explore the multitudes of the truth of you is one of the most liberating, authentic, and powerful things you can do when you are on the journey of the divine alchemist, the master manifester. And finally, we have my fourth practical tool for you, and these all build off of each other. So once you get there and you're accepting yourself, you're checking in with yourself regularly, and you're allowing yourself to be authentically whatever you are, the fourth tool is somatic manifestation, bringing your body into the process. This could look like breath work, dancing, chanting, intonation with sound, or body tapping, as well as many other body practices that coincide with the magic of manifestation. The point is, body practices move the energy through your system and lets your body speak. A very simple practice that is somatic manifestation could be turning on a song that talks about money or bringing in abundance or wealth or just feels luxurious to you. And regardless of where you're at emotionally, letting your body take over and move to the music, be moved by the music, while you consciously create and bring that energy of abundance forward. This allows your body to be the powerful vessel and tool that it naturally is, and allows you the space to surrender to its power. Working with all of these tools brings you closer to Working with all of these tools together brings you closer to integration, brings you closer to the belief that you don't have to fake joy to be worthy of joy. You don't have to mask pain to receive goodness. You don't have to be anyone other than who you are right now. The universe doesn't just respond to your thoughts. It responds to your essence, your soul. And your soul is not limited to the bright and shiny parts. So let's let go of toxic positivity and let's choose truth over trendiness. Let's manifest with softness and with honesty. Let's, you and I, right now decide that we are going to let our soul lead. Whether it's in magic, manifestation, or the stories we tell every single day. Thank you so much for tuning in to Sacred Codes Radio. If this episode resonated, I invite you to share it with a friend or someone who needs to hear that it's okay to be human and powerful. So until next time, be kind to your heart. Stay rooted in your power and remember that you are already worthy of the life you dream of.